Tootie back. This is a video response to some questions that Chris Novabug kind of jumped on the bandwagon of. A bit of a community questiony type thing that Steve had done, and Mike, Vampire Mike's Legacy of the Universe, someone else, I can't remember. I mentioned it at the end of the pickups video anyway, so I thought, you know what, bollocks to it. Let's do a response. I don't very often do any of these, so I thought, why not? And it gives you a little bit of insight into me, I don't suppose, especially if you're new. And I always forget that because I forgot to do it the last video. Many thanks to all the new subscribers. Really do appreciate it. You know, it is what makes this what it is, essentially. So, there's 5 questions that are out there. Some I think I've answered probably at some point during my tenure on here. But I'll go through them again anyway. So first question is, what state do you live in? Now obviously in the UK we don't have states, we have counties, so I'm in Leicestershire. I know obviously in terms of the US, I think the whole of the UK could probably fit in Texas or something stupid like that, but yeah, that's where I'm from anyway. Which is like the Midlands, if you like, in the centre. Not London. London is not the whole of the UK. Can't be that soundtrack. It's the air in your back and neck stand up. So question 2, that's short and sweet. How did you get into collecting? So this is, I don't think I ever didn't collect, if that makes sense. I never really stopped. It just kind of got tempered down a little bit. But yeah, I've always been into gaming. Obviously we all have, that's why we do what we do. But in terms of, I suppose that question is more like sort of hardcore collecting, if you like. That's what I'm guessing. So I always had the systems very limited, you know, when I was a youth. But when I got a bit older, I think I did a video on the Z64, stuff like that. So that's really where it kind of reignited it itself. So I had the Z64, this bought PlayStation 1, chipped that just to see if I could. I think I moved the PlayStation 1 on and kept the N64, the Z64, a couple of the games, you know, didn't have many of them. And I just had a few bits, nothing really, wasn't really a collection. It was more just a sort of grouping of machines that I don't know, something inside me said don't get rid of them. Unfortunately, like many of us, the sort of more cherished items like the Super Nintendo and that, they went there. That I traded that for an Amiga. But the sort of the drive, the sort of where I am now, and the impetus behind it was really I was getting into the arcade side of stuff, especially MAME. I was very big into emulation back in the day, and that was, you know, the really early emulators. I mean, everyone sort of knows MAME. MAME was is essentially a conglomeration of multiple different emulators, and one of the main ones I used to play was Rain, which is Rainbow Islands emulator, which then ran on a lot of the Taito machines and stuff like that. There was a Capcom CPS2 emulator as well and stuff like that. And basically what they did, and very cleverly, what's his name? Mario or Marco or someone like, I can't remember, the guy who is the driving force behind MAME. He just pulled all them people together, and obviously MAME is multiple arcade machine emulator, and they just basically built and cobbled in all of them different emulators into MAME, essentially. So yeah, that was, so really that's, you know, I got back into sort of old games by that route. Bought what was it? I can't remember what model it was now. It wasn't a video. Was it? Yeah, it might have been a Video System arcade machine. About 60-70 quid off of a website. I can't remember now. And basically hacked it to pieces. Bought a JPAC. I think it's a JPAC adapter, not USB, pin adapter, which basically translates the keyboard inputs into the joystick. You have to map it all, you know, wire it all up and stuff like that. It is more of a proof of concept. Very crude. Not very nice to look at, but it's a proof of concept. Would it work? You know, little power supply, little PC, little hard drive, all inside the arcade machine, and it worked. It worked quite well actually. Didn't look the best, but it worked. And like I say, it was more of a proof of concept. But that drove me then, from doing that, doing the research on that, sort of, as a lot of stuff does, you tend to see YouTube videos pop up in the feeds. I didn't really know much about YouTube. I don't think I even bothered with YouTube back then. You know, from an internet browser perspective. And then you sort of see from that, you start looking at, you know, oh, someone's wired a JPEG up. So you look at that video, and then you see the feed at the side, and it got to sort of linking across to the American guys, their basements, their collections, and that's how it sort of. I've mentioned this tons of time before. That's really how it was. It was via the arcade route. Just looking at their rooms, you know, the basements, fucking green with envy. I still am. So then from there you look at someone's game collection, and obviously, you know, all the video game collection, and you see other feeds then, Super Nintendo or Nintendo or whatever, and then, you know, or some people's games room would have a machine in it and they'd have tons of games, and that's all it is. That's all, you know, it was like, oh yeah, I remember that game, or all this, that and that, and it was just like a snowball effect. Just kept rolling, and it was like, fucking hell. And then, so I did the usual thing, like bought bits of bobs off eBay, back when it's still relatively cheap actually. And I can't remember what it was, I started thinking, I wonder where they get these games from. You know, and it didn't take long to put two and two together and realise, actually, a lot of these people just go to the fucking car boot. They go to the car boot and they sell them on eBay to make a profit. Cut the middleman out, just fucking go yourself. That's really where it kind of started gaining, you know, gaining momentum, you know, growing a pair of legs really, and started really going forward. That's really it. But yeah, so it was just an offshoot of looking at arcade machines, reminiscing, looking back, and it as a natural progression perhaps that way. Right, next question. What does your significant other half think? I.e. in my case the wife. I think she thinks it's a waste of time, to be honest, but it keeps me out of trouble, keeps me out of the pub, doesn't stop me drinking, which I think she'd probably like. But you gotta have your sins, haven't you? You know, don't do drugs, don't gamble. Married, so I don't really do sex, so that's the only vice I've got. I don't smoke. But yeah, I think she thinks it's a waste of time. My brother-in-law, he calls it. He says, "What the fuck are you collect all this fucking old Rommel for?" Which I think it must be a term called shit or crap. Calls it old Rommel. Don't know. The only Rommel I know is General Rommel, the German guy in the tank. But yeah, I mean, I'm out of the way. Like I said before, I'm out here in the blast furnace, all the deep freeze, spending the time of year. This room wouldn't get used, to be honest. There's no use, no ornament. Under the stairs, she wouldn't go near that because she thinks it's full of spiders, and the same goes to the garage. So it doesn't intrude in terms of what she wants to do with the house. So yeah, I'm pushed out in the corner, which doesn't bother me. It's my own little space, which everyone's a winner. But yeah, I think if I stopped paying the bills and I had no money, then there would probably be questions asked. But I mentioned it before again. It becomes a little bit self-sufficient. You know, I have a small pot of money each month. That's my little money to do what I want with. Or if I reinvest or whatever, then that's how you fund the collection, don't you? It's not rocket science. So the kids love it, although they're not really into the old stuff. They like it, you know. Like when I go to the car and come back and I've got some DS games for them to play or whatever. And like I said, the daughter's been playing that Mario chess set. She just likes playing with the figures. So yeah, I was picking up some of the figures and stuff. They like getting involved in that. They've got DS's, they've got 3DS's rather. So they like the games as well. The wife, I think again, Chris mentioned this. My wife's the same. On Facebook, plays the bloody, what's she playing? Some crime game. Plays a Candy Crush. I'm forever getting fucking requests on it. Oh, can you go in there and unlock this caseload or case or something? I don't know what it is. Fucking. But yeah, she plays all them. We used to play Warcraft together. Obviously, when we were together, we didn't meet in Warcraft. Well, I am a geek, but I suppose I probably would be that much of a geek. But yeah, and she likes The Sims and stuff like that, but not old school stuff. She remembers some of it. Don't get me wrong, like most. Oh yeah, I remember. You know, brother used to have that and stuff. But Don't play it. Don't play it. Question 4. Fucking, this is a tough. Well, it's unanswerable. This is favourite game of all time. What? I mean, you should categorise that. You know, arcade, console, disc-based, cartridge-based. You should. That's actually be. I mean, there's fucking multitudes, isn't there? Absolutely multitudes. I mean, don't know. Super Mario World. You can't go wrong with that. But a lot of my RPGs, Final Fantasy 3, love that game. Secret Mana. Oh, it's just tons of in the arcade. Street Fighter 2 was an absolute fucking masterpiece. There's too many. There's too many to mention. You can't. Outrun, Afterburner, great arcade games. No, I can't answer that. Yeah, Warcraft was a great game. Probably lost its way a little bit, but that was a great game. That's a nuts question. Absolutely insane. I would like to say Bayonetta 2, but currently, actually, fucking, I'm kicking into stuff. Should have said to the other video. It's still sealed. I have not opened this yet. I refuse to open it. I know everyone keeps saying, just fucking open it, you should just open it. But I'm not, because the bastards have cracked it, look, the post. And they haven't fucking got back to me yet either. So, I would like to say Bayonetta 2. Because apparently, I can see the post from Razzmatazz. I think he said Metacritic, it got 91 points. I don't know what that means. I know that Edge give it 10 out of 10 and they don't do 10 out of 10s. But I'm fucking holding fast. I want it swapped. I want it swapped because I don't know. I just don't want to open it in case it's you've opened it and you've damaged it. I just want to leave it to that. I haven't got response yet either. So yeah, favourite game of all time. No, can't answer that. Too many. And the last one's really interesting. Your first sub. Like, who did I first sub on YouTube? I thought you could go and check this. I said to Chris, I'm going to have a look at that. You can't find it. There's no record of who you sub to. I think there's records of who subbed you. I think, yeah. But there's no record of who you subbed in that respect. So I don't know, you know. I mean, there's a few people, like, again, especially the guys over in the US. Ryan Right Now, I used to watch always watch Ryan Right Now. I really do miss Ryan. I know he's a bit on the nerd masses with Mike and stuff like that, and Ed, but I do miss Ryan. He was funny. He's a funny guy, and that's how I got to watching, you know, Mike and stuff like that. A bit Ed. Who else was there? X-File, my mate Marcus X-File 2708. You know, back in the day, miss Marcus's channel. Yeah, there's a few. It's weird because I suppose if they're not active as well. I mean, I didn't know this off the back of going to Manchester, but Stu Ninja Bear Hug, I've heard that he's got rid of all his collection. I did not know that. I'd had a few jars by then, and Daz, Adam and Jay were coming out these things, and I was just like, "You're joking! You're joking!" Because I was absolutely amazed. I was like, "You're joking!" And it just got into because he used to be a guy at work, and that's what his catchphrase was. Whenever you said to him, you know, "You're joking," and I don't know. I'd had a couple of jars by then, and I was like, "You joke?" And they were just telling me all this stuff, and I was like, absolutely amazed. But yeah, so one of the salient points was that Stu Ninja Bear Hug has sold off. I think, I'm not sure if it's his Master System, but I'm pretty sure it's his Mega Drive. It's all gone, or the bulk of it's gone, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think who else I used to watch. Who was sub too early on in the early days. It's weird because it's been a good few years now. But yeah, people come, people go. I'm still here. How long I'll do it for, I don't know. Actually, that should be another salient question at the bottom of there. How long do you think you keep going for? I don't know. Until I get bored, until something happens. I don't know, really. I think you do reach a saturation level in terms of the games, which is quite nice in a way, because it, you know, to not have to, not have to, that's the wrong word, to not feel obliged to sort of look for, say, like Master System games or whatever. It's quite good that way. You don't feel like you're sort of chasing your tail, and you can just pick and choose, which is quite, you know, quite nice to do. Anyway, I've gone completely off on a tangent there. That wasn't a question. I've just made that one up. That's it. Hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of a VR. And so if you want to answer the questions, answer them yourself. Like I said, so question. I'll link them down. Right. What state do you live in, or what area, county, or whatever? How did you get into collecting? What does your significant other think of it? Your favourite game of all time, and your first sub, i.e. who you first subbed on YouTube. Take it easy, gang, and I'll catch you later. Bye bye.